I'm Andrew Damack and I'm the Director of Advocacy for Bicycle Queensland. Bicycle Queensland's a not-for-profit group that exists to promote bike riding and to engage with councils and government to make Queensland a better place to ride a bike. So we work with, principally we work with local governments and state government about building out what's called the Principal Cycle Network, which is a series of lines on a map that when we join them all up, hopefully we'll have a series of bikeways and on-road lanes that bike riders can use to get around the place safely. Really, it's about trying to reprioritise, if you like, the traditional road network we have, which we've built over the last 70, 80, 100 years and done it principally for cars. But I think over the last 20 or 30 years, we've realised that doing that leads to an unsafe situation for the more vulnerable road users, walkers and bike riders. And so we've been trying to address that imbalance that exists in our road system. And there are various ways to do that, but looking at bikeways and on-road lanes for bike riders is probably the principal infrastructure thing we're doing. But there's also, if you like, the cultural and behavioural aspects of that. And so Bicycle Queensland's been working with Queensland Police and others to work on the behaviour and the interaction between bike riders and the motorists and also motorcyclists and walkers and all those groups. Changing the culture on our roads, I think will take a concerted effort from all groups. So Bicycle Queensland on our own, we won't achieve that, but we need to work with partners. We've come up with this concept of a Commuter Harmony Alliance, and we're trying to get all of the road user groups to sign up to that concept that all of us just want to get where we're going safely and without feeling like we've endangered ourselves. Everybody wants to get home to their family at the end of the day, and whether we choose to do that by walking or by taking public transport or by riding a bike or riding a scooter or riding an e-bike or indeed driving a car, it'd be great if we could all do that in harmony. But yeah, I think there's a real challenge in that, and part of it is about how much of a rush we all are in, you know, and when we're on the roads, you know, everybody who's driving faster than me is an idiot, but everybody who's driving slower than me is really annoying. I'm the only person who seems to be doing the right thing. Well, it's not true. Actually, we need to broaden our perspective and really act as a total community, treating each other with harmony and respect on the roads. We think that we can look more closely at lower urban speed limits. We think that 50 k's as a blanket speed limit for urban areas is too high, and there's plenty of data available in terms of research done in Australia and overseas that says that where we reduce the speed limits to 40 k's or lower, that we save lives. In the event of a motor vehicle coming into contact with a human, a walker or a bike rider, the motor vehicle obviously always wins, but it's survivable more often if that impact speed is 30 k's an hour or less. And you know, we'd really like to see more people survive accidents on our roads. So you know, there's still 200 and something people every year who die on Queensland roads. The state government has this Vision Zero, if you like, dream or agenda, and we think that really part of enacting that and making that real is looking at how fast we travel in our urban areas. Obviously, better systems and better cars and better design of roads on freeways and roads between towns, we still need to go fast to get across the vast distances of Queensland, but in town, we think we could go a bit slower and we could save a few more lives. Look, there are countries in Europe that have gone to blanket 30 k speed limits. It's too big a jump for Australia. Just mentioning it in the session just then brought a response from a councillor in Toowoomba who was saying how they have done some 40 and indeed some 30 in high pedestrian areas, but that they felt that making that change across their whole city was too big a step because people have to get where they need to go. Well, they do, and we think that certainly arterial roads that are well designed and where there's separation from the vulnerable users can still be 60, but we really think local roads, those without a centre line, could go to 40 and eventually, you know, if the community thinks it's a good idea, to 30 k's an hour. So look, cost is a big part of everything we do, but really rather than looking at costs, we prefer to think about investment. And certainly when we look at the impact of the, you know, for instance, Neil Scales from TMR was in the session earlier and he was talking about QTrip, you know, the way they fund, you know, the billions of dollars that goes into that investment across Queensland. Local councils are investing in our road network every year as well, because, you know, 70 or 80% of the road network belongs to local councils. And so all of this, cost is a big factor, but we're investing in the safety of our community when we build infrastructure. And so by tweaking, if you like, the mix of how we do that investment, we think we can make outcomes that are better for vulnerable road users, for walkers and bike riders. And that may, in specific project instances, cost more, but it might be a worthwhile investment to make.